Shalom, shalom. This the brother Mawam come back with another sit down and want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Harakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord, teaching this word, wherever you're scattered at in the earth. All right. And this lesson is going into how the Lord has is going to bring back or bring justice, okay, or render justice upon the Edomites, the so-called white people, which is not about, it's not just focused on skin color, all right, and they call themselves white, so that's why we say so-called white, okay, because we always tell you, you have Edomites, so-called white people, that look like black people, or that look like Hispanic people, or that look like Latino people. All right, because your lineage, all right, is determined about a man. Okay, your race, your nationality is determined by the man. Okay, so if that Edomite man, not if, but these Edomite men, they're marrying and having children by these different women of different races. All right. But the children that come out, they're going to be what their father is. Okay. Even though the skin color might be different, their spirit and bloodline goes back to what their father is. Okay. And we don't care who doesn't believe that, that's what the scriptures prove. Okay. So the point is, it's a blessing to be in this truth. Thawadi Hawba Shem Yahushua for this truth. And you're watching your enemy, your oppressor, you're watching their kingdom fall. Okay? And what you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans don't understand, the reason why everything is collapsing, dealing with Babylon the Great America, is because the Lord is bringing this place down. He let it rule for a certain amount of time, and he's bringing it down. Okay? Rightfully so far, the wickedness and the rape, rob, and murder and the lies, that the Edomites been doing. Okay? And been doing nothing but oppressing. All right? Oppressing the Israelites, destroying the Israelites. Okay, destroying, all the other nations as well, and destroying the earth. Just dividing and destroying and things like that. Using their propaganda. All right, and et cetera, et cetera. So this Psalms 91, and the thing what I meant about the dividing part is, Esau does that. He will use Esau, the so-called white man. He will use proxy wars. All right, and they will use another nation against their neighbor. Okay. So this Psalms 91 and 1. It says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." All right, and the secret place represents what? Having this wisdom, knowledge, understanding, having this truth. Okay, and I'm about to turn this car out too, because I'm in the shade. All right. So it says, that secret place represents being in this truth. Okay. And it says, "I will say of the Lord Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver me from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. And he shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler." That's right. And we have the truth. We have the truth. We just got to endure unto the end that you may be saved. It's not going to be easy. Okay? So it says, "Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that fly by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Right? So that's protection, that's spiritual, that's divine intervention, from the Lord and the angels. Okay? So that's the benefit of what? Repentance. Repenting and converting to the gospel, coming back to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah. That way the Lord can protect you from all these plagues, okay, that's coming on the earth. Jacob's trouble, the great tribulation, all right, the hour of temptation, the mark of the beast, the RFID chip being mandated on the earth, okay? And Esau, the so-called white man, they're the race of people that's implementing the mark of the beast, okay? According to the Bible, all right, and implementing the New World Order, okay? So it says, only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked, okay? And we want to be a part of that elect number that get to behold the reward of the wicked, all right? It says, because thou hast made the Lord Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. All right. And see, Christianity fooled you Israelites into thinking that the Lord was cool with Esau, the so-called white man, doing all the horrible things he done to us, in slavery, and the things they're doing now, just hanging you. All right. Christianity has blinded you Israelites into thinking that, long as you accept white Jesus in your heart, all is forgiven, and that's a lie. All right. And whether you want to or not, the Lord is going to do unto them what they have done unto you. All right. To us and our forefathers, or what you call ancestors. All right. So it's funny how you people of the world, you think you have morals, and you try to use this moral compass when it suits you. All right. And you love to say, oh yeah, what goes around come around. Niggas love to say that to each other. Yeah, what goes around come around. That's biblical. That Esau, the so-called white man, is not excluded from that. They're gonna reap what they sowed. And it's ironic that you Christians can't see that. You think the Lord just gonna forgive them for all that, all the weaponizing food, weaponizing medicine, weaponizing everything against you. And we're still in captivity. All right. All those horrendous acts during chattel slavery. All right. And then they continue to fuck over you. So, hey, vengeance is of the Lord. So Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah is going to bring Babylon the Great America down for all of her sins. Okay. So it says, because thou hast made the Lord Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. Okay, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways. Yeah. So the angels, excuse me, I'm gonna have to cut the car back on. The humidity ain't playing. Okay, so the angels are constantly, following the men, women, and children in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah around, and making sure you don't die. Ultimately, making sure you don't die. All right. So let's go to the next precept. Oh, let me get the hold on, Galatians right quick, since I quoted it. So this Galatians 6 and 7. I'm gonna read it plainly. Be not deceived, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Okay? You know, and the scriptures also tell you the Lord is not a respecter of persons. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is not a respecter of persons. Okay? So Esau is no, you Christians, you try to you try to nitpick scriptures and things like that, to save these devils ultimately. All right. And you scoffers that say, the Bible is the white man's book, what you don't know and realize is the Bible condemns, all the atrocities, all the actions of, Esau, the so-called white man. They're the wicked that the Bible speaks of. All right. They have committed all these crimes against the Israelites, against the planet, and against the other nations. All right, but what you expect? They're the wicked, so they're going to oppress everybody and everything until the Lord take them down. Okay, that's the point of World War III. All right, the Lord is using World War III to bring down all these kingdoms. All right, bring down, Babylon the Great Babylon the Great America, excuse me, and the NATO and the EU. All right. So this Psalms 141 and verse 8. But mine eyes are unto the Lord, unto thee, O Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. In thee is my trust. Leave not my soul destitute. Keep me from the snares which they have laid for me, and the gins of the workers of iniquity. Yeah. What you think all these different viruses about? These different viruses is about what? Snares and traps. So while you dumbass, and we gotta, you Christians piss us off, all right? But while you dumbass black Christians is so busy, kissing the so-called white man's ass, they're literally planning on genocide. Genocide and world domination, New World Order, and to implement the mark of the beast. And you Christians love to holler about the mark of the beast. Why it never dawned on you, read the whole chapter, Revelation the 13th chapter. Who is that beast? Who is Babylon, mystery Babylon? Who is the one implementing the mark of the beast? It's not spiritual demon Satan. Okay? See, Esau fucking with the phone now. They don't want, when you get to saying certain stuff, they get to fucking with the phone. All right? See, Christians is trying to make you think that, it's the spiritual demon Satan. He's implementing the mark of the beast. No, it's a race of people on this earth, the elites, that is, all right, that rules the world, and they're implementing the mark of the beast. All right, the RFID chip, that microchip, and their Neuralink. All right, which you're not supposed to take according to the Bible. Okay, the penalty of taking the mark of the beast is that nuclear fire. Okay, and all through the Bible it warns of the nuclear missiles that's coming. All right, Psalms 141 and 9. It says, keep me from the snares which they have laid for me, and the gins of the workers of iniquity. Let the wicked fall into their own nets, whilst that I will escape. And that's what's going on too. Esau is falling in his own trap. Okay? These different snares and traps and false flag events, it's backfiring. Every slick shit that Esau does is backfiring on them. Their end goal is what? One world government, one world religion, one world money system. All right, and that comes with that chip. Okay, the mark of the beast. But guess what? Every decision they make is backfiring and it's not going to go how they think it's going to go. You know, the elites is not really thinking, you know, World War III is going to go nuclear, but little do they know the Lord is plaguing their mind to make them use them nuclear missiles. Okay? And that's pretty much it. You know, because I want to speak on also, all right, all these different plants catching fire and blowing up. You had one in Louisiana, all right, one in Mexico, and I think another one in Oklahoma. Okay, you know, so all these different plants catching fire and blowing up. You know, hey, shit is getting worse, so be circumspect. All right, we're living in the end times, the last days. All right, and shit about to hit the fan. You know, Jacob's trouble, the great tribulation is about to, the Lord is about to turn the knob up. So it's going to get more and more, you know, it's going to climax even more. All right. So Lord willing, us edifying, want to end it and give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Harakak Badash, and double honors to the elder apostles, great millstone, ruling, teach well, and honors and salutations to the men of the Lord, doing the same and teaching the same.